My parents showed up with a moving truck, not to help me move, but to force me into a tiny studio so my pregnant sister could take over my apartment. Can you imagine waking up one Saturday morning, only to find your entire family, parents, sister, brother-in-law, pulling into your driveway with a massive moving truck? Not to help you move, but to physically move you out of your own house. I swear, it wasn't some crazy nightmare. This was my life, and in the end, I had to call the police. 3 months ago, the early June sun was just starting to warm my living room, painting peaceful patterns across the hardwood floors. I was curled up with a book, savoring a rare moment of quiet in my home, the one I'd worked my entire life for. That peace shattered the moment I heard the roar of an engine outside, followed by another, and then another. My name is Chloe Davies, and I'm 32 years old. 3 years ago, I poured every ounce of my savings and years of relentless hard work into buying this house, my dream home. My relationship with my parents, Eleanor and Robert, had always been complicated. They never really hid their favoritism towards my younger sister, Sophia. But nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared me for the day they tried to completely erase me from my own life, from my own sanctuary. If you've ever felt like you were living in someone else's shadow, or had your boundaries absolutely trampled by the very people who were supposed to love you unconditionally, then this story might just hit home. Growing up in suburban Boston, I felt like a permanent understudy in Sophia's starring role. She's 5 years younger than me, and from the moment she was born, it was obvious she was the golden child. I was just there. Our house was comfortable enough. Robert was an accountant, Eleanor a teacher. We weren't rich, but we certainly weren't struggling. They could have treated us equally, but they just didn't. I still remember my 10th birthday. I got a used bicycle, paint chipping, seat worn, that Robert had fixed up. I was grateful, truly. But 5 years later, when Sophia turned 10, she got a brand new, gleaming bike, all the bells and whistles. When I dared to point out the blatant disparity, Eleanor simply said, "Sophia has always been more sensitive than you, Chloe. You understand, right?" And I did. I understood that my feelings, my needs, just didn't matter as much. High school wasn't much different. When I wanted to attend a summer science program that would look amazing on college applications, I worked evenings and weekends at the local grocery store to pay for it myself. But when Sophia wanted cheerleading camp, Robert whipped out the checkbook without a second thought. "Your sister needs these experiences to build her confidence," he'd say. "You've always been so independent." So, I became even more independent out of sheer necessity. I studied relentlessly, applied for every scholarship. I was determined to forge my own path. Senior year, I got into several great colleges, eventually choosing Boston University because of a substantial merit scholarship. Even then, I still worked part-time jobs and took out loans. Meanwhile, my parents fully funded Sophia's education at a private liberal arts college. She changed her major 3 times and took 5 years to graduate with a communications degree. I worked through every summer, graduated in 3.5 years with honors in business and marketing despite my crazy work schedule. After graduation, I landed an entry-level marketing position in Boston. The pay was tight, but it was a foot in the door. I shared a cramped apartment with 2 roommates, working insane hours. Every promotion, every raise was earned through sheer dedication. Within 5 years, I was a senior marketing manager. 3 years after that, the youngest.